What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Bullpen. Today, I have something that, I'm really excited to share with you guys, the guest I have today, because in my opinion, I say this to everybody, this has to be the most angelic human being I've ever met, but at the same time, one of the most talented human beings I have ever met. The things he's able to do in the entrepreneur space and just with, I don't even know, like technology and platforms, the way he's able to work things, the way his mind works. One of the most incredible, stellar dudes I've ever met in my life. Roger Comstock here with us today. Thanks for being here, brother.
Oh, dude, thanks for having me, man. Yeah. I feel super, super thankful to be with you.
Oh, thanks, brother. So Roger, number one, I want to give you guys a little intro. Roger's a serial entrepreneur, has developed an affinity and obsession for business and helping people. He teaches individuals how to start recurring revenue businesses without venture capital. That's super important. Debt or real estate through the utilization of digital assets. He's the CEO, founder of $0 startup, Tuple, Flipper, Comstock Consulting, and Duvera Investment Group. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, sir.
Jeez, I told you guys he does everything. Roger loves being with his family, incredible family man, especially his sweetheart, Kayla. She's literally his best friend. He enjoys being outside, golfing, incredible golfer.
Dude, no, I wish I was better, man. We need to go, dude.
We do need to go. You're a camper. Obviously the way you've been able to learn. We're going to talk about your learning abilities here. Thinking, reading, laughing, accomplishing goals, and helping people understand and reach their potential. He also has a Goldendoodle named Max, who's basically his shadow wherever he goes. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Cool. And if you guys want to get a hold of Roger, you can follow him on Instagram at roger.comstock. And you can learn more about what he does at $0startup.com. So first and foremost, brother, there's a lot to unpack here. But before everything, I could talk days about your skill sets and what you've been able to do. And honestly, how you've been able to help me in my business, how you've been able to help a ton of entrepreneurs. Dude, your skill set of being able to help people start a business with $0 is something that could change people's lives. But before we get into that, I just want to kind of tease everybody. We're going to get into that. What's your story, man? I want to know more about you, like at a deeper level. What's your story?
Yeah, dude. I went to college, and for anybody, I have a bit of a different viewpoint when it comes to schooling in college. I would never recommend it to anyone. I'd actually recommend the route that Bull took here.
Me too.
It was good, dude. It was really good. But I got my undergraduate in business, and then I went and got an MBA as well. And I feel like everything that I learned throughout those programs could have been learned for free on Google. And so it was a good experience. I met great people, but it wasn't something I would recommend. We have kind of an uncanny way that me and my sweetheart are going to do things with our own children. We're going to have them convince us why they want to go to college.
They're going to fail.
Exactly. Yeah. I want to be able to understand what their reasoning is, because I think there are so many opportunities now that we have to be able to learn in ways that are much more effective from people that have been there and done that, in comparison to going to some brick and mortar, establishment. And so that I went to college, and afterwards I had really, as a kid, I'd never planned specifically to go into entrepreneurship. I knew I wanted to make a dent in the world, and I wanted to help people. I love being able to watch people become their best selves, and learn things and grow and kind of mold their character. And so I know I wanted to be involved with that. So after I graduated from my MBA, I actually went up and worked with a company called Hospitium Partners. I was helping manage a large asset up in Montana, but the entire economy in that area was based on oil, and oil had sunk. And so the individual that owned that company, it was a bit tricky, because since the oil economy had gone down, there wasn't a whole lot going on there. So that didn't end up working out very well for that group. So came back, started working at Vivint Solar as a business intelligence analyst. And it was good, but it was a basic 9 to 5.
Right. That's not for you.
No, that was not for me, man. So I enjoyed being with friends. I mean, there was free lunches, air conditioned rooms. It was very easy, and it wasn't. Yeah, I felt like exactly. I needed to do something different. So,
well, can I ask you something then? Because I can attest to this. Especially in business and entrepreneur space, a lot of people think of like business owners and capitalism, and they think of greed and people just, looking out for themselves in their own pocketbook, right? I personally actually believe the opposite. I believe a lot of entrepreneurs actually who I've met want to make a difference in this world, right? And I can personally attest to you being maybe the most genuine dude. Like, I mean that with all my heart. One of the most genuine dudes I've ever met. And your desire to legitimately make a difference in people's lives. And it's like, dude, you can cut through bullshit, right? You can sense when people are just faking shit, because you and me have both probably met a lot of people who, you know, are just lying through their teeth, just saying they want what's best for you. But then your intuition tells us something different. My intuition with you and everyone who's met you has always said, that is one of the most incredible dudes I've known, right? But where did that come from, man? Like, I just want to know, like, I seriously want to know, where did you get the desire to want to help people so bad and to be such a good dude? Where did that come from?
It's interesting. I mean, I'll get super personal here,
Please.
but I think this is great. I grew up with severe anxiety and OCD. I mean, it was bad. It was really hard. I went to therapy for years, and I think what I'm grateful for in this experience was it enabled me to be able to empathize in a way that I don't think a lot of people they don't have it, because they didn't go through kind of that darkness, right? That implies. And so when I see people suffering or struggling, I just want to hug them and help them, you know, because I know that it doesn't feel very good, you know, to go through tough things. And so I think, you know, it's cool. Like, I look at the difference between the DC universe, right, and the Marvel universe, and what I see, you know, like with DC, you've got this dude, like Superman in the beginning, that he didn't really have weaknesses, and that was a challenge for DC to overcome. They actually had to give him a weakness in order to make him more vulnerable and you know, relatable. Kryptonite became his thing. Where in the Marvel universe, what I think is cool is that people start off as human beings, right, and they grow into these heroes, and we tend to relate more. We look at the you know, the incredible success of the Marvel franchise, and I think it stems from the fact that people that are going to watch those movies feel like they can relate to the characters. And I think in my own life, you know, I really love entrepreneurship because it gives me an opportunity to work with people. And Zig Ziglar said, you can have anything in life that you want as long as you help other people get what they want. And I think, dude, that's kind of a mantra for my life. I love helping people get what they want and watching them grow and kind of being there with them, you know, through their experience.
Well, which is what makes you such an amazing entrepreneur. I mean, we're talking about how many different businesses that you're successful with. And really, at the end of the day, entrepreneurs, they just look for problems and want to fix problems, right? But dude, like, because I'm really intrigued, because you just said something like about anxiety, right? You happen to pick one of the most anxiety-ridden things to ever do in your life, right? Yeah. For someone who struggles with anxiety, normally they wouldn't they take it upon themselves to do more anxiety-ridden things, like, say, be an entrepreneur, where if you don't perform, you don't make money. I believe every entrepreneur out there can relate to this. There's probably no more anxiety out there than being your own boss, right? It is hard. It is scary. So with someone who's struggled with anxiety, what made you want to even do that? Like, go into that, like, or just pursue that? Because that's got to take some courage, man.
Yeah, dude, I love that question. I'm really, really grateful to be here, to be able to kind of chat with you about your experience too. You're someone that I just love and respect, and feel grateful to have as a friend. And so this is fun to chat about this stuff. I think that in our lives, one of the things that I think is challenging to watch is someone becoming defeated by a particular challenge that they experience, right? So somebody may actually compartmentalize themselves into a particular category because of an experience they've had. And I never like to see that, because they miss out on what they could be if they were able to open their mind up. So David Schwartz wrote a book called The Magic of Thinking Big. And I like that because what he helps people understand is that they can do way more than they think they can. And so me, I'm never about to let anything master me, right? So my anxiety, I whooped. Right. And I didn't care what I had to do. I was hell bent on getting past it and moving beyond it. Same with OCD, and talking to people and going to whatever length I had to make sure that I could manage it well, because I don't want anything to ever become my master. Right. That goes for anything, physical appetites, money, sleep. Right. I want to be the master of everything in my life. Right. So I don't want to be a slave to money or getting up in the morning, right? Going to the gym. There's times you want to stay in bed, but I don't care. It's like, just get up anyway and go do hard things, you know, and it makes us better people. We become better human beings through those experiences. Well,
I mean, what you're talking about, bro, is, and I think you and me actually relate to this on a lot, is when I see people who have tons of potential. And honestly, I believe everyone out there has potential to do something great. I truly believe everyone out there could do something significant with their lives. No one was put on this earth to be average. Not a single human being is here on this earth to be average and just get by. That is literally the bane of my existence, is people who want to just settle for middle ground and just get by and not have to do hard things, right?
Yep.
And I believe every single human being has something to offer to this world. So the whole idea of this business of be great or be nothing is you can let your light shine. You can be that person to go out and make a difference, even if it's in a way that's maybe not super out there on television or whatever. Maybe you're just making a difference because you're like some guy like Tim Ballard going in and, saving kids, or maybe you're saving the turtles. I don't know. Like, you're doing good in this world. You're someone who is here to inspire, right? And this is what I think you probably relate to, as someone who's so empathetic, is it's so hard seeing these people who want it. They talk to you about how bad they want it. They want to be successful. And then you see something hard come into their life and they just give up. They give up at the first sign of trouble. They quit. And my opinion, that stems from a lack of self-belief.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of all the things it stems from a lack of self-belief. The two things I believe in more than anything is confidence and courage. If anything comes your way, you have the confidence, the self-belief to say, I can do it. I can do whatever I put my mind to. And if you believe that, no matter what comes your way, no matter what anyone says out there, no matter how many haters on TikTok say they don't like your, the hairdo or whatever, these little kiddos on Call of Duty or whatever, nothing will stop you because you believe in you, right? And you have the courage to move forward. And you're a perfect example of that, because someone who struggles with anxiety happens to choose probably the most anxiety-ridden profession of entrepreneurship, and you're out here making a huge difference in people's lives. That's one of the most incredible things to just listen to. Now, let me ask you something. You have a lot of students you work with. Am I right?
Yeah.
Tell me about your business, the $0 startup, right?
Yeah, I love it. It enables me to be able to, help other people achieve, their own entrepreneurial kind of dreams. It's a blast. So we utilize digital assets to be able to help individuals generate passive income, and they don't need venture capital to do it or any sort of debt to be able to start a business, which is really, really a wonderful thing for them. The students are finding a ton of success, which I've loved to be able to observe as well. But one of the things that I like that you said was a lot of the success I see in the students is stemming from their own personal belief system about what they have the ability to accomplish. James Allen wrote a book called As a Man Thinketh, and so good. One of the quotes there, he says, your mind is a garden, your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. And I think it's great because people don't truly understand how powerful their minds are, and what they can do. You have taught such important things about this mind palace, right? Which I love your story. It's so inspiring. I wish everyone in the world could hear your story, because it's important that people are able to go somewhere in their mind and create what they want in their future, and then get granular about how they're going to get there, because so many people believe that the road to success is a linear thing where it's like, hey, I'm at 1 now and I want to be at 10. Well, all I have to do is just, take a straight shot up there, when really there's a lot more volatility, in that line of high ups and low downs.
Low down, yeah.
Yeah, all the way up to the 10, but it's the experience that is so meaningful the entire way. It's what makes all the difference,
Right. So $0 startup, right? Now, talking entrepreneurship here, talking the ability to start a business with $0. I believe that could change the world.
Yeah.
Because think about that. What is the number one reason why people don't get started? I guess there's really two answers to that. Now that I'm saying that, there's two answers to that. Why people don't get started, why the graveyard is full of good ideas, right?
Yep.
Is number one, a lack of self-belief. Number two, a lack of know-how, right? A lack of just knowing how to get started. The most dangerous information is the information you don't know, right? That's what's going to hurt you. That's what's going to keep you from what you would want to accomplish, right?
Yeah.
You're obviously a student of a lot of people. I can't wait for the, Zig Ziglar book to be right next to the Roger Comstock book at the library, right? You need to write a book, by the way, brother.
You're kind, man. Dude,
But,
thank you.
But when it comes to entrepreneurship and just making that happen, a lack of self-belief and also a lack of know-how. If someone were to come to you just right off the bat, now maybe you're giving away some secrets here, but just give us a little sample. Someone comes up to you and says, what do I need to do to start a business? I have no money. That's a huge question I get DM'd every day. Someone comes up to you and says, I want to start a business. I want to be successful, but I have no money. What do I do?
Yeah, here's what I'd say, and I'm not giving away any secrets here. I think it's important that people know kind of what this framework looks like. In my program, I call it the $0 framework because I think generally, and it's a bummer that this is the case, but most people associate entrepreneurship or startups with risk. It's a correlation they make in their mind that generally ends up feeling negative, right? So a husband who's married and he's got some kids may say, well, now I can't start a business. I wanted to before I was married, but now it's too risky. And that's not the case. Following the $0 framework, what I teach is that people should always get paid first on deals that are being done, and then costs can go out. And that way they are always in the black. They're never going to be in a situation where they're uncomfortable, right? Mm-hmm. So they're going to get paid by a client to be able to serve them in a way. What I teach with digital assets is you can create a digital asset. We can take epoxy flooring. These are people that I've served.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's really, really cool. Those guys that do epoxy flooring, they make great money, right? They make anywhere from about $1,500 to $2,500 per floor, so about $2,000 on average on those floors they're covering, but they just don't know how to find work, right? So if I can build a digital asset and I can automatically drive traffic for someone that does epoxy flooring, we can really create a symbiotic relationship by I can send over to that person 10 to 30 people to that business owner every single month. And if they were able to close 15 of those at $2,000 average on a deal, they're making $30,000.
Yeah.
And so say I charge them $1,200 a month. That's passive income for me. And I set everything up with automation. Mm-hmm. So my hands are free, right? So they're getting people to work with. My hands are off and money's coming in to me every single month. They're getting more business and it's not risky at all because I got paid first. The other thing I would say is important for people to understand in starting a company is sometimes they get focused on kind of the thick of thin things, like what they're going to call the business or what the logo is going to look like.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Where
I've been there.
Yeah. Right. Like people need to be focused on revenue generation, demand generation, making money first. And then once they make money, if they've closed, say they've got 5 clients that are paying them $1,200 a month, that's $6,000 that they have to work with. Right. And then they can make logos and come up with everything else. But I always tell people to, mitigate risk wherever they can first.
Dude, that's actually, I don't think people realize the power of what you're saying here because that is the new wave of business. That is how business will run in the future. Because here's actually an interesting example. Look at cars.
Yeah.
Have you noticed how many car companies announce a new car? So they really just put together a video or picture and they make maybe just one car. They put it out there at this big presentation and they say, look at this new car coming, right? Everyone gets super hyped about it and they say, put down a deposit and you can get it, right?
Yeah.
What people don't realize, this Tesla did this, Corvette did this with the CA, a lot of companies are doing this with their cars, is they put this out there, right? So it's just a digital asset like what you're saying. Yep. They put it out there and they say, put down your deposit if you want it. So you'll be able to reserve it. All of a sudden, they start getting an influx of revenue when they haven't even sold a car yet. What does this allow them to do? It allows them to get the funding they need. They show the capital to be able to go out and produce the car. Tesla literally did that. How many pre-orders did they have? It was I think they made damn near $100 million on pre-orders for the Cybertruck. And they literally made it zero risk. Oh, if you cancel, you get your money back. But also they had this influx of revenue. So then they were able to leverage that and create more revenue to get the Cybertruck going. We still haven't seen the Cybertruck, by the way, Elon. We need that. I was kidding.
Exactly.
But that's a lot. I've noticed that more and more and more. I mean, that's literally the ClickFunnels model.
Yep.
Is put something out there that someone else will basically pay for your marketing by buying a low cost, low entry program. And then what you're really trying to get is the higher programs, but you're having people pay for the cost of just the ads by putting something inexpensive digital asset out there. That's a new wave of business. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're a lot older than me. No, I'm just kidding. But like, that wasn't a thing before we had the digital capabilities that we have today.
Yeah.
Am I correct on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what's important too is to look at the capital structure of individual businesses and to look at something called equity dilution, because it's a challenge. A lot of people feel like they need to give away the farm in their company. Sometimes I watch businesses like on Shark Tank and I'm thinking, dude, you're giving away 50% of your company for 200 grand. I'm like, dude, that's a bad idea, you know.
That's a great idea for the sharks.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, there's a reason it's called Shark Tank, and they're great people to work with, which is awesome, and those deals can end up being wildly lucrative. But I think there's other ways to, again, be able to mitigate risk. And I love your example. It's exactly right. These people are raising capital without any sort of public offering. The only public offering is a digital asset of, hey, here's this car, put money down if you want it. And Tesla's assuming zero risk. They're getting all the money they need for post or pre-production. You know, they can build those vehicles, deliver them, and they're in a great spot. And less equity had to be given away to potential investors. So Elon makes more, right, from those situations.
Elon's a freaking genius.
He's the man,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, golly. So now, what's funny, because you're talking about this digital, I've obviously taken a different approach because I am not very techie, right? And you know that.
Oh, you don't give yourself enough credit.
No,
dude.
I'm not very techie at all. But like my method is literally, you can make money without having any money. And it's if you have one thing, a skill set.
Yes.
And if you have a skill set, the skill set that I happen to teach is sales and prospect marketing. Because basically that's essentially what you're doing is if you have a skill set, you can go provide value to other people and you will get paid a lot of money depending on the amount of value you provide. Because I've said this over and over, the world will always pay you what it thinks you're worth. Remember, they will pay you exactly what they think you're worth, right? Yeah. And if your skill set is worth a lot, guess what? You're going to get paid a lot. And maybe it took some money and some time to develop that skill set, but it doesn't cost you money for them to bring you in and you provide your skill set to then grow their business or then to help them. My side is, if I know sales and I know how to prospect market, meaning I know how to go out and find my own leads, but my prospect marketing a lot of times doesn't happen on social media, even though that's what I teach through social media, you could literally go knock doors. Yep. These epoxy companies, if they wanted, I mean, here in Utah, it's the door-to-door company, capital of the world, yeah, right? It is. All the Mormon production, business, right? Where we just train them up like that. Anyways, so you go out and knock door to door, but you can make money doing that. People, like, if you have a business idea, you can literally get some flyers or get an iPad and just go get an iPad and just have a little presentation and go knock doors and try to sell people door to door. It doesn't have to be pest control. It doesn't have to be home security. It doesn't have to be. It could be epoxy. People are actually making tons of money in roofing doing door to door. People don't realize that. And just showing you that how simple it is. If you have the skill set of just going out, selling somebody, and closing deals, you can get paid a lot of money by finding your own leads and closing your own deals. And you don't have to have money to be able to do that. So now you provide what I call the real job security. Right?
Yep.
Because if you have a job with somebody else, I hate this. Job security is a myth unless it's with yourself.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Any boss can fire you. Any company can go under. Look at what happened with the coronavirus pandemic. How many people lost their jobs like that? That came out of nowhere. But it was the people who had their own skill sets, the people who had their own ability to make money. That's true job security. You and yourself and your skill sets provides the value to the world that you will always make money. You will always get paid. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's basic. If I'm going to say, that's basically what the $0 startup strategy is. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Helping people understand skill sets where they can create major amounts of value in a symbiotic relationship between two different companies. So you may have, an epoxy flooring owner who is really, really good at his craft, but has no idea how to get new business. And then you've got, one of my students who has no idea how to epoxy a floor, but is really, really good at generating traffic, right, for them or something. And then what the kind of the secret sauce in all of it is creating the automation that makes it so these business owners are automatically getting a text message with how big the job is, their name, when the job needs to be done, the assets automatically running. And that way, the students have the ability to just be completely hands off and enjoy, their experience. And that's my whole goal, is to liberate people that want to kind of break out of the 9 to 5 and to stop trading time for money. I want them to be able to invest in meaningful things, relationships and people,
What's your take on this? This is something that I've been feeling in my gut, and that I'm more and more believing the more I see stuff. Like, if you go into Walmart and notice how checkout is almost a thing of the past now.
Yeah.
Self-checkout is like, not all the Walmarts have it, but some Walmarts, I didn't see a single checkout line. I only saw self-checkout, like areas where there's like one person managing it, right? As opposed to one person on each checkout aisle, right? And say if you go to Home Depot, or if you go into some fast food restaurants, you can order your fast food on a screen, right? If you go into Alibaba, they say if you want to see our future, go to Japan or China and you can see the technology there. Well, if you go there and you see the production that they have in shipping and freight, a lot of it comes from robots, right?
Yeah.
A lot of it comes from robots being able to go back and forth. So like if you go into Walmart, there's no self-checkout aisles, right? And this is not all Walmarts. It's some Walmarts. There's no checkout aisles. There's only self-checkout, right? But then you go into fast food chains and you find, like you can just order on the screen, or pizza delivery. Like Domino's just coming out with this new little thing that delivers your pizzas. So it's getting rid of pizza delivery drivers, right?
Always on the cutting edge, Domino's.
Right. Yeah,
They're amazing, dude.
Exactly, right? Domino's. Or you go into Japan and you see our future of like the freight, and you think of like how big of a struggle Amazon is having, hiring and firing people who don't want to work, doing boxes, doing the same thing every single day, right? So they have robots replacing that to do just the shipping and handling, just stuff like that, right? And it's made me think more and more, especially with how technology is coming about, that the W-2 job is dying.
Yeah.
Because it plays onto something you were saying about getting out of the 9 to 5. The more and more I think about it, this might be something that people totally disagree with, but I truly believe this in my heart. I believe a typical W-2 9 to 5 job is going to be a lot more rare than what we're used to, because look at like the hourly paying jobs, all these jobs being replaced with something else, some automated feature that actually, if you look at it from a business perspective, saves them a lot of time, saves them a lot of money, and they don't have to keep hiring and firing and investing into the training. They just have to have the software up to date, or they just have to have, some system going, right? And you look at the way that our world's heading, I truly believe the 9 to 5 job is actually going like, and here's another one I didn't even think of. When you call into a big corporation, you call their phone, it's almost never someone actually talking. It's a system that you can talk to, and they say, our system can now handle full sentences. Please say what you need help with. And then you just talk to it. You're like, yeah, hey, my thing got delivered, but it needed this is this. Like, okay, we'll route you to the best person to handle. So there's no more like, middle person where like call center. So I look at what's happening with these typical, like almost like lower income jobs, but maybe not even lower income, just almost monotonous jobs that are being replaced. So what's your, the real question I have is like, do you think that's a possibility? Because I truly believe that's where we're heading, by the W-2 9 to 5 job almost being a thing of the past one day. And people are going to have to learn how to make money on their own in a completely different way than just going and getting a job doing something like that.
Yeah, that's a really, really interesting question, because I think what people need to be able to learn how to do is to pivot effectively. And it's one thing that entrepreneurship teaches you really, really quickly. And it's one thing that I think is a bit of a challenge for people that are in the in the corporate world, a 9 to 5 job. They're told what to do and they just act off of somebody else's kind of, hey, go do this. Yes, sir, I'll go do that. They don't learn what it's like to be able to adjust and evolve in an economy that's consistently changing. And the rate at which it is changing is insanely rapid now. I mean, our technology today compared to what it was 10 years ago is exponentially better. And so people, our minds also have to be able to evolve to those kinds of changes. And what I fear is that people in 9 to 5 jobs are conditioned to be able to take orders, right? In comparison to being able to know, hey, this is what's happening either in the micro or macro economy, and I need to know what I can do to now adjust. So to your point, I love it, because people, they need to be able to understand that job security really stems from learning how to adapt, to what's going on economically. And so what's nice is I look at the current economic conditions and even, political leadership, and people can say things one way or the other. But what I love about entrepreneurship and about what you've done and continue to do is that it really doesn't matter what's going on in the economy to me. I don't really care who's president, other than there's going to be things that I need to adjust to, right? I'm not a huge fan of current leadership, but it's not going to change any of the outcomes that I get, because
neither am I.
Yeah, right. There's always strategies. And that's what's so fun. It's like a game of chess. I know you've got a chessboard here in the office, and
love chess.
It's amazing, right? Yeah. It's a game of strategy. And so instead of feeling bummed out and letting it take over us in a negative way, it's that quote, our mind's a garden, the thoughts, the seeds, we can grow flowers or weeds. And a lot of people let their external conditions regulate what goes on internally, when they can just change their internal kind of barometer and say, actually, I can do anything that I want. It's like you said, confidence and courage. Yeah. Those two things that you care about most make the biggest difference in people's lives.
Dude, I love it, brother. I love it, man. Well, first and foremost, man, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate you being on the podcast with me. And as always, it's just a pleasure to be around you, man. And
likewise, brother.
I want everyone here to go follow this guy, because if you want to be, surround yourself with high quality people, this is the kind of guy you need to be surrounding yourself with. Follow him on Instagram at roger.comstock, roger.comstock, and also visit his website, $0startup.com. This dude is a killer, and he can absolutely change your life, because he's changed my life. He's helped me and my business grow in incredible ways, in ways he didn't really even have to. And that's the kind of man you are. So first and foremost, thanks for coming on. Second, thanks for who you are, brother. It's good to be around you.
Dude, I'm grateful to be here, man. And likewise, everybody listening to this podcast is lucky to be learning from somebody so influential and inspirational. Everything he said about me could be easily said about him. He's also changed my life and countless other people's lives as well. So thank you.
Thanks, brother. Take care, y'all.